Hello everyone. Only 2 weeks are left for the NEET SS Super Specialty exam, and I have been getting queries regarding what should be the strategy for the preparation for the last few days before exam. So in this video, I've come up with the very vital thing that everybody should be knowing about the last minute revision strategy. So we are going to talk about a few topics which every candidate willing to crack the exam should be knowing or should at least take a look before the day of exam. These are very volatile topics, therefore we must at least have a visual impression before the exam day. We are not going to add anything new to our notes because this is not the time we learn new things. We just revise for whatever we have prepared. So we are going to look at the topics. There are 5 to 6 important topics we are going to look at. So let us start by looking at the first topic. So the first thing that everybody should be revising the day before exam are the formulae. There are a lot of set of formulae which is given in the NEET SS exam. Usually one of the question out of the 100 are going to be formula based question. And this formula can be either from the statistics or can be from the urology. So we must be knowing the common formulas from statistics, like we should be very confident in these formulas about sensitivity, from specificity, formula of positive predictive value, and any problem based on a formula of negative predictive value. So if we get a question, this can be a straightforward question. So this thing, if you revise on the day before exam, definitely there is no scope of getting confused on the day of exam. Now let us look at the other formulae. There are other formulae. If you have read thoroughly the entire subject, you know there are a lot of formulae in urology, from maybe regarding the calculation of the bladder volume. So we calculate the bladder volume. There are different formulae for them. You can be asked about any of them. You can be asked about the prostate volume calculation. So we must be knowing the formula for the prostate volume. So it's width into height into length into 0.523, which is nothing but pi by 6. You can get formulas from urology based on the bladder volume, based on the prostate volume. Then you might be asked formulas to calculate the EGFR, which is very important, and formulas from neurourology like bladder contractility index, formulas from bladder outlet obstruction index, and this basic detrusor pressure formula. So there can be formula from statistics, there can be formula from urology, and you can expect one of the questions to be a formula based question. So this will be a straightforward marks for you if you can just revise them on the last minute of exam, because they are very volatile. You are bound to forget them. You are bound to confuse one with the other if you don't revise. Now let us move on to the next topic. The next topic is about the genes and chromosomes. These are also very numerical based questions, and every year there are questions from these genes and chromosomes which are asked in the exam. So let us keep in mind that if you are asked about the few important chromosomes and their respective genes, there might be questions from what is the chromosome for tuberous sclerosis? What are the chromosomes for autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease or autosomal recessive polycystic kidney disease? What is the chromosome for von Hippel-Lindau syndrome? So all these are important genes and chromosomes. Just go through them once before the exam, and I'm just providing a small list so that you can quickly revise them. These are very important. They're number-based questions. Straightforward marks if you just remember them. Don't add anything new to your notes. I hope everybody have them in your notes. It's not required to add anything new right now because we have to revise from what we already have. Now let us look into some other chromosomes and genes. See, if we look at the prostate, there are a few chromosomes and genes which we come across, like the prostate cancer gene fusion, TMPRSS2 ERG gene. So from the prostate, this gene is commonly asked, the fusion gene name. And we must be knowing the chromosomes for the PSA, the chromosomes for the PSMA. All these are important from exam point of view. They are very potential MCQs. That is why I put them in the slides. Go through them once before exam. They are very volatile. If you don't revise, you are bound to forget them. If we move on to the bladder also, the low-grade bladder cancer are associated with some particular genes, and the high-grade bladder cancer are associated with particular genes. And this is very important potential MCQs. This is all memory-based thing, nothing to remember. You might have your own mnemonics for this. So all I want you to do is the day before exam, sit with them and go through them once, because we are definitely going to get one straightforward question from any of them. Again, if you look at the renal stone disease, this is another very high yielding topic, and a lot of things can be asked from here. You might get questions from most common stone in the bladder, most common stones in this different scenarios, and all these scenarios are very commonly have been asked in the past and can be asked again in the future. A straightforward MCQ can be put up from any of this situation. Apart from this, renal stone disease itself is a very important topic. The basic concepts you already remember them, you have been revising them for a long while, and you can be easily able to attempt a concept based question. But there are some fact based questions like the different mechanisms of ESWL, the complications of ESWL, the management for a lower pole renal stone disease and a non-lower pole renal stone disease. Just go through the algorithms the day before exam. I'm definitely sure one questions will be straight from this stone disease. Now, if we move ahead, yes, definitely the visual impression is what is going to matter. And there are a lot of questions which are being put up every year, which are image based. Image based questions, usually they are asked based on the instruments, or they are asked based on the some surgical procedure. So these are very, very important that you go through the images which are given in Campbell. You must have gone through them before. One of them will be definitely asked in the exam, or more than one image based questions can be put up in the exam. So let us look at a few examples so that you can understand what are commonly asked. Like you might get an image on this different types of catheters. I'm not going to enumerate all of them. It's obviously labeled. You can easily revise them. It's just for you to have an idea what the exam pattern are likely to be. Just go through them. These images are very important from exam point of view. These are going to have a long lasting impact. One of them is definitely going to be straightly picked up as a potential MCQ. Now this, we have already seen them multiple times in the Campbell. Is just for you to have a quick revision the day before exam. Go through them. These are important images. Any of them can be picked up as an MCQ. Now, some of the surgical procedures which are very confusing, and if you don't look at the images in the last few days, you might end up forgetting them. So, one of them is from pyeloplasty, Foley YV pyeloplasty. It's a very important. They will give this diagram and they might ask you which of this is depicted here. So, you have to see the options carefully. They might give you VY in one of the option, and the other option they will give you YV pyeloplasty. And always look at this. This is a YV pyeloplasty. We are converting a Y into a V. This is very important that we read the options carefully. We cannot afford to make silly mistakes because one answer is going to create a lot of difference in the ranks. So read the questions and the options very carefully. One of this diagram based on operatives can be given, other like this can also be given. We have already seen these images previously, and these are vertical flap techniques which is usually done in a box shaped pelvis. Another image like this can be put up. You can see the spiral. So all these are diagnostic clues you will get in the image. They're definitely not going to put single image and ask you which procedure is being done. They're going to pick up this whole sequence of image from Campbell and they're going to put it up as an MCQ. Be very clear about them. Have a look at them on the last day of before exam. One of them is definitely a very potential MCQ. Now, if you look at these other surgical procedures, now mega ureters are also very high yielding topics. Calcium key folding technique, this star plication, and this Handren excision tapering. This is all very, very important. You might be getting questions from any of them. My idea is not to tell you something new, it's just to give you an idea of what you already know and what has to be revised the day before exam. So let us move ahead and look at the few other things. These are again some of the images which might be asked in the exam, and this we already know is about the urinary diversion techniques after cystectomy. And one of them is a Bricker, and other is a Strickler's. A list of the diversion techniques. We are not going to discuss them in detail. You know them already. Go through them once again before the exam because these things are very volatile and you can easily confuse the one with the other. You might have your own mnemonics, so revise them. This is a must know topic. There are various classification systems. Any of this classification system can be asked as a one liner. They can be asked as an even image based question. One of them is very important as we see the international classification of vesicoureteric reflux. And even if you have revised it multiple times throughout your 1 year preparation, people end up confusing the grades of viewer. So make sure you go through them, because even the images can be put up in the MCQ and you might have to identify which grade is being shown. Next, you might get image based on this classification of posterior urethral valve. This is a very common important classification by Young's, and type 1, 2, and 3 is annular. So we know this images can be put up. Very, very important. Next, we might get a classification on the ureterocele, which is a Stephen's classification. You might get an image to differentiate between the sphincterostenotic ectopic ureterocele versus ceco-ureterocele. This image should be there in your head, and if you have not seen in the last moment, I'm sure you are going to confuse. So go through them, have a clear idea. There will be a lot of classification when you read the whole subject. Definitely there will be classifications in renal trauma, there will be classifications of pelvic floor urethral injury. Stay calm, stay focused, don't